Imagine, what are those beautifully talented artists, the Ashley Cook and Brett Young? They're backstage tuning up that guitar, and they're ready to have two people that they've never met dance slowly in front of them. And yeah, it was a power move on Rachel's part. I think Rach politely steps away from Drag Race Guy, and then she goes to talk to one of the producers that we never see, and she's like, "This fucking guy sucks."
Welcome aboard another brand spanking new episode of Another Bachelor podcast. I did that intentionally. I am tonight's host, Nick Davis, saddled up next to my good buddy, Patrick, the Irish Bug Hickey.
Great to be here, Nikki.
We are missing one Dylan Wren. He has been stricken with the disease. He says it's coming out all the holes, and he's not feeling great.
You know, my lovely wife, Cherie, brought up, she's like, he's sick a lot, isn't he? And I was like, I'm never sick, as you know. I never take a day off.
Same. And the last time I brought that up, he said, you've been stricken with myriad diseases. I've had STDs here and there. I haven't missed work because I've been ill.
No.
Hey, you know that.
Right. And
if I've ever missed work or school or some function because I said I was sick, I was lying to you.
Well, it's interesting because in my orbit of friends, Dylan's not alone. I have like 3 or 4 dudes that if every 2 months you call them, will go, hey, you want to go out to Laurel Tavern and get a burger? Oh, man, I'm sick. Kaylin Bean, my coworker friend, always sick. Mick Ritchie, always sick. Dylan, occasionally sick. I'm never sick. I don't know if I have better genes or what have you, but I'm never sick.
I feel like one could posit that possibly your friends don't want to spend time with you, but I'm not going to put that negative energy out there, and I would like to believe Dylan really can't hold anything down, and I just hope we have him back tomorrow for Below Deck Med, next week's review, and all our other Patreon shows that you can get at patreon.com/anotherpodcast network. Speaking of which, even though we're here to talk about episode 2 of season 19, The Bachelorette, with a Z, we have some PSAs. Pat, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I was looking at our iTunes ratings and reviews today, and it's been like a dereliction of duty, because when I'm like pondering if I'm going to listen to another podcast, they need to have at least 1,000 iTunes reviews, because I'm like, you're nobody.
Nobody.
You're no one if you don't have that many reviews, right? Because you got to have at least 1,000. Well, I want to get to 1,500, and I think we're like 50 shy. So if you don't mind, why don't you just press pause right now? And just leave us a 5-star review and say how much you like the show.
And I'm not certain this will help, but use the word Bachelorette in your review. The SEO on Apple Podcasts is not helping us out. You have to scroll for a minute before you find us, and there's some dead shows above us. I don't get there.
I don't understand how that works. How is what is it? The something of the Ring? They got 50 reviews, and they're like 4 spots above us when you search out The Bachelorette. How the fuck does that happen?
We honestly maybe seasonally want to change our podcast show name to Another Bachelorette podcast. I'm wondering if that might help, but that's neither here nor there. We got a show to get into. Is that it for your general thoughts?
I think so.
Check out Below Deck, and check out if you like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're covering that on the aforementioned Patreon. But like I said, we have to talk about tonight's episode of The Bachelor. And before we get into the specific goings-ons, we're going to get into general thoughts.
Yeah.
Pat,
yes.
I'm going to go first.
Go ahead.
Second day of school, I enjoyed myself. I still don't know most of these people's names. I'm using descriptors, although that's something Pat does all season. But I'm still using descriptors for these men to keep them apart. But we had some drama tonight with a weird autist who thought he was going to win the whole time, who made some drama in the house. And then we got some initial cracks between the seemingly best friend relationship between Gabby and Rachel, starting to like the same man, and even some secrets kept from each other. I enjoyed it. 77 roses.
Okay, I agree with most of what you've said. Here's what I want to say overall, because it's the second day of school. A little bit of be careful what you wish for. I'm the one who said, hey, we got to shake up the format. And I am thankful for that, because the show is truly trying to have fun again. It's not taking itself too seriously. So I enjoy that. But I must say, I feel we need a format here. I feel like I'm just floating in the ocean. In a current play, I have no idea where the fuck I'm going or where this show is going. I think they're making things up as they go along. Rach and I think on last night's episode decided to send that cute drag race guy home, right? And I was thinking, what if Gabby wanted to suck face with the drag race guy? Rach just gets to send him home. When did that ruling come down? Maybe Gabby wanted to slow dance to Ashley Cook and Brett Young, right? She got fucking robbed. So I need Jesse Palmer to step in and go, here are the rules, the ground rules of how this all fucking works. I mean, I felt so bad for Ashley Cook and Brett Young. I mean, they even had a fucking violin player with them, and they played to nobody.
I've got a lot to say on Ashley Cook and Brett Young, as I'm sure you predicted, but I'm going to save that for later. How many roses?
I'll give it 14.
14 roses, super high score from Pat. That's actually really positive for him. I just want to piggyback on your general thoughts, which we don't usually do, but we have one less mic here, so I feel like I got more room to play
Feel
with
free.
Our podcast canvas. You mentioned the Jason. I agree with your overall point. They seem to be making up as they go along. I blame Chris getting fired and putting in Jesse Palmer, who doesn't have the history of the show. He started it last year. He told Clayton right off the bat, there are no rules to this game. And I said, since fucking when? There used to be a very established structure to the show, and we know what to expect. We'd often complain about it, but like you said, careful what you wish for. So it's definitely loosey-goosey, and they have no plan, so they can act like they had a plan. Which is cunning. But with the Jason part, the race car driver who got kicked off, I want to shit on your point a little bit. He was on night one. He told Rachel specifically that he was there for her. So I think that's why they sent him home. They didn't want to do the... Another plug for our Patreon, Love is Blind Season 2, that one guy, Jeremy, who got shut down by the one girl, so then he ended up with the other girl. He's like, it was you all along. They didn't want that type of situation. We didn't want any fakers.
I still feel Gabby, as being one of the two bachelorettes, should have had an opportunity to sit on the drag race guy's face if she chose to, and that was taken away from her.
That's a good point. I feel like if she sold it like that, hey, I know you didn't come for me, but I want to sit on your face, he may have changed his mind, and she didn't get that opportunity.
She's a wild card, that one.
That's a great point. We return to the mansion, or do we? Is this just some random house, or is this
no fucking clue. I know if it is the house, they spruced it up quite a bit, but it doesn't have enough beds.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Slightly ahead of yourself. I wonder about when they were talking. It's very slight, but I don't think it is, because when they would arrive at the house, they would say it said the Bachelor House instead of the Bachelor Mansion. So I do think it's a different location, but they just keep the wool over our eyes. We return to Gabby and Rachel setting the scene. They both realized that they had to cancel the rose ceremony, or else they'd be up for 48 straight hours.
Yeah, and they also they recount they can't believe they canceled the rose ceremony. Well, you did it.
Yeah.
It was in your hands. Mickey's pretty much got his hand off the fucking steering wheel. I will say this. You're going to get to there not being enough beds in this frat house.
But still, one more thing about Gabby and Rachel, unless you're...
Oh, no, go ahead.
They talked about how they wanted to have a pool party because of the storms in Calabasas.
Right.
They couldn't see the men with their shirts off, so they... explicitly said, how can we objectify these men?
Yes.
And what better way than with a pageant? But before that, we see basically, I bet if Dylan was here, he'd say this is his worst nightmare. Testosterone-fueled dudes who all need 13 eggs for their breakfast.
Yes.
It looked like it smelled like a hockey bag. What were your thoughts on not enough beds, Pat?
Well, I have an ongoing theory about it. So when Gabby and Rachel decided to scoff at the formula that has been down for 19 seasons prior to this, they were supposed to kick 6 guys out. So 6 guys were never supposed to be able to stay and that extra night. So hence that my wife Cherie pointed that out to me. I'm like, they don't have the guys sleeping on the couches. This is fucked up. And my wife said, yeah, they're not supposed to be 29 guys left. There's only supposed to be 25. That's why they're short. Makes complete sense.
It's like a bachelor party at an Airbnb, but then like a bunch of hangers-on who from the high school friend group who weren't really invited show up, and then they piss on your couch. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I showed up. So too many guys in the house, blah, 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 blah. And they decide on the pageant, which is the perfect way to objectify anybody. We've talked a long history about hating pageants on this show.
We need to see flesh, and Mickey will see to it. And by dropping off those things that were quote unquote gifts, I never got a Christmas present that I opened, and the gift actually objectified me.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks, Santa.
It's a real early edition of If the Roles Were Reversed on Bachelor here. It must be nice for the ladies because they do get to decide who they want here based off nipple size, because some people too small or too big will really freak you out.
I call them pepperoni tits. They're disturbing. Every once in a while you visit a beach, you'll see a couple of those on some dudes. But I just go back to my horrible bit. Imagine a little brother of mine going, "Hey Patty, what's Santa get you for Christmas? What's the gift?" I'll go, "Objectification."
What a weird thing you asked for, child. But I want to go back to my silly nipple bit.
Yeah.
The flip side of the pepperoni nips or the sand dollars is freckles. You barely got an areola. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I got dimes for tits too, which I actually like. I'm glad God just gave me 2 little pennies.
I think that's the ideal situation for a nipple, unless of course you are Thomas, who's going to marry Becca Kufrin, the original pepperoni tits on this show. Except I think you might have said Peter Kress said pepperoni tits.
Now, is it Mickey or Palmer who lays down the ground rules? At some point, it's disclosed to us that the guys are told the more they show off their cock and balls, the chances they'll get free tickets for, I guess, a special time with the girls. It's like winning luxury boxes at the Super Bowl. Hey, how's my taint look? Do I get those tickets?
That's how you get in luxury box at the Super Bowl?
At SoFi.
I'm ready to show my taint. And I'm going to guess it was Jesse Palmer. He's up close and personal. He wanted to see as much skin as possible.
He looks like a bloated drunk. They got to get him on a weight program or don't let him drink when they're shooting. It's sad to see.
Just tell him teams are interested in it and see if he whips himself into shape. So, yes, we start through the pageant. Logan goes up. He says his girlfriend described him as honest and kind. He does the worm.
And he's got a fucking anaconda for, you know what I mean there.
We could assume that. There was a big black bar. Colin has no chance. This guy has long hair and looks like he drives a white van.
Is that the white surfer guy?
Is he a surfer? This guy didn't look like a surfer. He looked like some creep who would drive a white van.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we move on to the talent portion of the show. A number of guys juggled. I could do that. A number of guys spun the ball on their finger. I can do that. What stuck out to you, Pat?
Meatball dumps Rayo spaghetti sauce on his chest. I don't know what he was trying to do there. That was stupid. Are we going to get... I guess we're already at the talent portion of the night. One of the dudes had a chyron labeled tone deaf. Did you see that? He was the guy who thought he was a triple threat.
He's like a early contestant in American Idol. Defiant with his lack of talent.
Yes. His parents loved him too much. Told him he was perfect.
I have one contact in. That's why I'm getting my notes so close to my face.
Oh, that's all right.
Talent show... I don't know how this happened, but Johnny got to do a kiss, and he kissed both women. Interesting choice at this point. I think it was a smart move.
100%.
You don't want to offend the other one. It would turn the other one off, and it was very gentle, peck on each cheek. Mm-hmm. Good move, Johnny. Chris, we start to see our main character for tonight. Yeah. His first foreshadowing of being a complete weirdo. He says he's alpha. He loves sports, music, and being a leader, and then he starts some weird church group team building exercise with the clapping of the balls. Yes. Really didn't like him off the bat.
Me neither. Should we is this when a date card comes in, or are we still here, or should we just jump to the night date with the dudes?
Meanwhile, we get a date card. Talent show's over. Oh, and then the date card comes in. And were these the 6 people that won the This is what...
I don't think so. This is the date card where it comes back to the... goes back to the house for the next day. I'm all screwed up. This is normally where Dylan would be, Patrick.
I think
you're an idiot.
I think what happened here was the pageant was for the entire house, and then the date card came, and they didn't explain it well, but I believe those were the 6 winners who then got to spend the night at the house for the portion of the talent show.
Okay. Well, I have a roll call if you are correct there. If you'd like to know who's on the date card,
I would love to know who's on the date
card.
All right,
here's it. You want a roll call?
I want a roll call.
It's the first roll call of the season. Here we go. Avon, pretty sure he's in there into Logan, and there for Logan. Logan, pretty sure he's there to be the Bachelor. Brandon, the bartender. Jason looks like he bores people that know him. Johnny looks like he picks his nose in a car. Colin looks like he works for a startup. All right, slow start. Slow start for me.
It's early, third day of school. Colin, the one you said looks like a startup. I was the one that said looks like a creepy guy who might have a white van. It's crazy how you can't tell nowadays.
No. You don't know. That's what they've done to us. People used to, if you were Richie Rich there, you used to have to wear a fucking 3-piece suit. And
top hat, monocle,
cane. Yeah, maybe a pipe. And then, you'd have a briefcase. Now you're in flip-flops. I don't know what the fuck you own or do.
You see Elon Musk on a yacht getting hosed off like cattle by R. Emanuel.
Nice.
Did you see that today?
I think I did.
He looked fat. He was getting hosed off
yeah,
by
he's
Ari
a cow,
Emanuel
this
like
guy.
cattle.
Can we jump to the night date, Nick?
Yeah, the night date.
Night date!
Today's episode is brought to you by our favorite sponsor, Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a once daily shot, a magical elixir made up of 12 natural ingredients that will help you do more and stress less. That's right, you can finally start knocking stuff off that to-do list rather than seeing it grow. It has stuff like ashwagandha, echinacea, only 30 milligrams of caffeine to give you a solid focus, zen hum throughout the day. Not that anxious feeling you have when you have too much coffee and you feel wired, but you're not really accomplishing anything. This stuff is so effective. Pat he's on his 5th nanny. His nannies keep actually stealing his stuff, so honestly, he needs to do better background checks on his nannies. But his nannies steal his Magic Mind. They use it. Bam, suddenly they're millionaires because of all they've achieved after they stole the Magic Mind. Then they quit the job, obviously, because they have bigger aspirations than just being Elle's nanny. So the point is, you need to take Magic Mind, and Pat needs a better vetting process for employees. So go to magicmind.co, use promo code ROSE for 20% off, and start doing more and stressing less. And right now, you baby birds, our Bachelor listeners, you are in direct competition with our listeners of Below Deck. Whichever promo code gets used more, either Rose or the Below Deck promo codes, those listeners are going to get a special treat. So show us that our flagship program, Another Bachelor Podcast, is stronger than ever by going to magicmind.co and using promo code ROSE for 20% off. Now, Magic Mind isn't the only thing you need to start implementing into your daily routine to start feeling better. What else do you need? You need our second sponsor today, that is Organifi. Organifi is a line of organic superfood blends that offer plant-based nutrition with high-quality ingredients and less than 3 grams of sugar. The founders of Organifi really care about helping people and bringing nutritional awareness to the masses and giving access to healthy foods for the entire world. And it starts with Organifi. You can try it out and start living a healthier life. Make sure you're around to see your kids walk down the aisle. Don't be selfish and not take care of your body and then miss those magical moments because you're 6 feet underground not seeing your beautiful son or daughter get married and unite in eternal love with their partner. That's because you're selfish and you didn't try Organifi. So go to Organifi.com, use promo code Bachelor to get $15 off anything in the store and start living a healthier life. That's Organifi.com, use promo code Bachelor. Night date. We've got our 6 winners of the pageant, and first we see Jason first grabs Rachel and goes and talks to her. Rachel's extremely excited. She's very effusive in this conversation, ready to flirt, and he immediately crushes her and breaks her heart. This made me extremely sad, actually. I don't know. Last year, my idea of Rachel was kind of like she used sex to lure Clayton in, not a lot there. But now I just think she's a sweet, fun girl, and I wish the best for her.
I do. And now, did you mention why she basically had to scratch him off her list? He mentioned that he liked Gabby first.
Yeah, broke her heart.
Dumb move, buddy.
It's interesting. I think this is the way to do it in a one-on-one setting, not like how I said. It was a good move on Johnny to kiss both of them when they're both there, but like you got to let them down at some point, not string them along.
Well, the journey's just beginning, Nick. I need a little time with the ladies to see where my feelings are going. We spent 10 minutes with each other so far. Come on now.
I guess it could be perceived as shallow, already deciding which one you like at this point. Gabby talks to some guy who exudes confidence. This is actually Johnny. This is a double kissing guy.
By the way, this is the guy that looks like he picks his nose in a car when people are looking. He chats.
Aren't looking.
Oh no, are looking.
Are looking.
He's defiant.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He chats up Gabby, and he asks if he can kiss her again, and she's down. And when he does, if you look closely, he wipes a booger on the couch.
This guy is so bold.
Which, if I'm in production, that is cause for termination. Quite frankly.
Rachel then talks to Logan, the guy who wants to be the bachelor in Pat's eyes. They talked in the bedroom, which, like, this was leading to a kiss, sitting on the couch already. Wouldn't happen in my household. Rachel gets her kiss, and she is elated. She was doing a lot more making out this season, so I think she's happy to finally get off the schneid. Gabby and Logan, then Logan turns around and he talks to Gabby, and he's the first man to do the double kiss. Bold.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. So before Gabby and Rachel talk to kind of catch up, this Logan guy, he's got a little bit of game here.
I agree, Pat. He calls Rachel brave, and not because she flies plane, but because she was showing up on this show for a second time when Mickey's probably cutting her a check for $100,000.
That's right.
How brave.
She's brave.
Solid joke, Nick.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
That's it.
So yeah, he double dips. He kisses both Rachel and Gabby, and then Rachel and Gabby talk, and this was very interesting. Rachel finally, even though she knows that Gabby and Logan have had a little thing, she confesses that she has kissed him, whereas Gabby, pun intended, is tight-lipped about the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I thought she copped to it too.
No, she didn't. She just was like, oh, that's nice. You like him. You like him. So I wonder if this will come up later or down the TFC. Maybe she did tell him and they didn't show it.
Gabby, forgive me, seems more streetwise to players and guys and jerks. I think she is okay to just let that little bird fly away.
I completely agree. I think she knows what's going on. She was a NFL cheerleader,
yes.
So you've dealt with guys with games and plenty of notches on the belt. No tricks she hasn't seen.
Exactly.
And also why she probably went for the black guy for the first date, and still wants to keep him around even though he has a child and she's not into that, but she wants to fuck him in fantasy suite. But getting ahead of myself.
Well, let's see who gives who the roses, right? Isn't that where we're at? Rachel gives Logan the rose, okay, and he's still wiping the spit from Gabby's mouth off his face as he accepts it. And Gabby gives Johnny, the nose picker, the rose. Mm-hmm.
The nose picker gets picked. The irony. Next morning.
Excuse me. Palmer shows up to give more fucking date cards.
And he also kind of explains that both women are about to have a one-on-one with the gentleman.
Right.
But first up is Rachel. Jordan V. Love is in the air. No, it's not. He gets the date. They go for their first date. He's of course, our race car driver, who I predicted, erroneously it seems, would be possibly a good pick for the next Bachelor.
He got tossed too fast. Though.
Yeah, all the puns they could do.
We didn't get to know him. Yeah, so this makes sense because she's like an adventurous person. Thrill seeker. Being a drag race guy, that car could just explode and light on fire at any time. I could say the same for those small planes that go down on a daily basis. So they take off in some ridiculous old guy sports car and drive to that fucking zero gravity vomit comet plane thing, which is a trope that's been used time and time again on this particular show.
Famously, Nick and Canadian Vanessa, and she threw up, and they had their moment after. We all remember that. Who doesn't? They must have some deal with that zero G place. I would like to try that.
I'll do it with you, dude.
Let's do it. APN date. Will you kiss me after I throw up?
Of course, Nick.
Don't. We both have significant others that are women.
Can I do a meanwhile while these guys are on their date?
Please do.
Meanwhile, Chris is talking fantasy suites. He's handing his potential enemies a sword to run him through later on. And I actually don't think it's that big of a deal to be talking about this. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I think the guy kind of got a bad edit here or whatever. Who cares if he was talking about fantasy suites?
I think that's completely fair. If he is, I don't know, Johnny Nosepicker or Logan, and he says this, I think he sticks around. But because he's weird and he's got church cap energy and he's a little bit of possibly a touch of the tism, it's a death knell, like you said. He handed his enemies a sword. Never do that. But then also, ironically, don't get ahead of myself, but handing your enemies a sword is also then your enemies. They kill you with that sword, but they hand it to someone else because it never works out for the person.
No. So why don't we just cover this and we'll go back to the night date. Mm-hmm. So after Chris does this, he's immediately called out by some guy that really needs Botox. He chimes in talking about this show's about love and makes a really dumb argument ensues. And then the weird guy that looks like he was a backup dancer for Rick James starts protecting the Bachelorettes and referring to them as queens. Slow your roll, Rick James backup dancer. Please.
Just and I'll be fine going forward referring to Nate as Rick James backup dancer, but just to specify for the audience, that is who we're talking about.
Nate, yeah.
And if you didn't know, you're not going to get context clues or you don't know who Rick James is, but Nate is Rick James backup dancer, and he was the one that has been reading like the vagina monologues or something, and he said there are no preconditions for love. That is a point of manipulation. I evidently try to manipulate us all the time because I have an idea how our podcasts are going to go every time, or just life in general.
Yes.
You want to have a plan. That's not manipulative, Nate. You got quit reading the vagina monologues.
I'd have to say, again, not to get ahead of myself, if you really watch the dialogue of what Chris said and then this dumb argument, and then later on when the ladies use their moment of empowerment to kick his ass out, it was really all mean.
Yeah, honestly, it was reminiscent of Katie Thurston's season when she kicked off Thomas. Do you remember? It was kind of the same thing. Everybody it was a mutiny against Thomas because he was obviously the hottest guy in the house. And then she was like, your audition is over. And she kicked him out. Like she was all tough and like he got a really bad villain at it. But he seems to be a really nice guy and he's married with Becca and everybody hates Katie now. It's interesting how the Lord of the Flies type culture will just eliminate one.
Yeah, sometimes when like multiple voices are upset about something, no matter how dumb it is, you just start going, oh, maybe they have a point. And then you add in some some music, like a crescendo or some dark music whenever you see the potential or alleged victim on the bad guy on the screen. Boom. Just as you're watching, you're like, oh, he's a bad guy. Kick him the fuck out.
Especially, it's a good move for a bunch of guys, which are the ones that got upset with him, who know they don't have a chance. Because if there's 4 guys, it's kind of like if you see, they've talked about like or there's this theory of like women at a club. They're in a group and they all look like attractive, but you get them separated one by one. You're like, oh God, what are these warlocks? So these 4 guys that have no chance, collectively, you see this giant group of guys that don't like Chris and like he should be off the show, and you're like, oh, they must have something. But then you pull these guys together and they're all fucking dweebs, and they're only banded together because they're dweebs.
Yeah.
But Chris is weird, so I'm glad he's off, and he went to meet it anyway. So
back to night date.
2 meanwhiles with 1 stone. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
That was 2 breaks.
Thanks.
Night date. They bond over their high-flying professions, and Rachel talks about how she enjoys that he has a passion for his career, but yet you're so fucking boring, Jason.
He is boring. He also makes some missteps with his... so they discuss pain, and this is where you got to bring your fucking A game, dude. Okay? So he reflects on stepping up to be a parent to his younger siblings after, the parents got divorced, but... he's not sure how old they are.
Yeah.
He practically raised them. How old are they? I don't know. I mean, it's a decent sob story, but it just doesn't hit the mark. You see, Drag Race Jason, whatever the fuck your name is, who cares, you're out. Divorces are pretty common these days, and he should have said his entire family was taken out by a freak water park accident. That would have gotten her juices flowing. You know what I mean?
I can't agree enough. Huge misstep. Not you said like, oh, that was sad sob story enough. I felt like, no, parents divorce at 13. That's absolutely nothing. Like you said, divorce is common. I believe it's over 50% of marriages. We'd be more shocked if your parents are together.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like you said, he didn't have the details down. That's just not going to work with your sob story. And then we get something, this would have to be a Sandra the Archivist thing, and don't feel obligated. But I think this is the first time we've ever got someone's sob story and then they got sent home.
Yeah, I mean,
usually the lead doesn't have the heart after your mom took care of your mom for 6 years while she had cancer and died right in front of your eyes. I mean, you make my pussy dry up, but I'm not getting rid of you.
Nope.
Not the case here.
I mean, imagine what are those beautifully talented artists, the Ashley Cook and Brett Young? They're backstage fucking tuning up that guitar, and they're ready to have two people that they've never met dance slowly in front of them. And yeah, it was a power move on Rachel's part. I was absolutely shocked that this happened, because I think Rach politely steps away from Drag Race Guy, and then she goes to talk to one of the producers that we never see, and she's like, "This fucking guy sucks."
I think what they were trying to do here when she was talking to one of the producers, I think they were trying, because we only saw his back, and it was a man a lot taller. I think they were trying to pretend that was Jesse Palmer, but he definitely wasn't.
It was a shadow or something.
Yeah, they had a stand-in. He definitely wasn't at this scene, so they wanted to pretend that the host was there. He had the night off. It was the one-on-one date. Why am I here?
And Jordan, he must be a confident guy, risking his life to get in one of those cars. And he was like kept looking over. He's like, "Yeah, what is she doing back there? What is she doing back there? Maybe she's getting that rose and they don't have it in the bowl of water or something. That's okay. You can bring it out dry."
Yeah. Pretty long pit stop. He can only think in terms of racing.
Maybe she's taking a shit.
Meanwhile, Rick James' backup dancer gets the date card, and he should bring his swimsuit. Back to night date.
Well, wait. Yeah, Nate, I guess he's an electrical engineer / bass player for Prince and the Revolution in the Little Red Corvette video, or backup dancer for Rick James. There's also a dude wearing a very long earring with a leather jacket. Who is that fool?
I missed that.
I think his name, I'm going to call him George Michael.
Rick James' backup dancer also has a very long earring. It's gold, and someone in one of the myriad Facebook groups I'm in pointed it out, and it looks like a gold paperclip. It really does look like he just has paperclips in his ears. That might be the new thing.
Well, because of the leather jacket and that long earring on just one ear, maybe I'll call him George Michael.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. We've got backup dancer for Rick James and George Michael, the stars,
and bass player for Prince in the Prince and the Revolution in the Little Red Corvette video. Mm-hmm.
But that guy and backup dancer for Rick James are the same guy. Yeah, and George Michael's a different guy.
I think so, or maybe all in the
George Michael's white, right?
I don't know. I was really drunk when I wrote that down.
What a horrible time for Dylan to be gone. No, we're killing it. We're killing it.
Rach returns to the table and sends Jordan's ass home, and she tells him, I ain't into it.
Yeah, and bummer for him, bummer for me. I thought he could have been the Bachelor, and we'd have, as the aforementioned, checkered flag, red flag, puns.
Yeah, we've already had Ari Lyondike.
These people love reusing tropes. I went to put it past them, and they're different type of racing, stock car to drag. It's a whole different animal. But alas, they do go home. And they announced that we were supposed to get a performance from Ashley Cook and Brett Young. And I was at first devastated because I didn't think we were going to get to hear them. But yet they still play their hit, Never Till Now. Except instead of happy tears, we get sad tears.
Right.
A montage of Jordan leaving, a montage of Rachel being sad. For some reason, Gabby. We get a shot of Gabby, who's looking longingly in the hotel room.
Really?
Yeah, it was very quick. She looked like she was crying. I don't know what she was upset about.
What's your fucking problem?
I don't know what you're upset about. Maybe because she also thought that Ashley and Brett weren't going to get to play. But, I mean, we all know this isn't Brett's first appearance. We all remember when he serenaded Kaylin and Colton on his season.
Really?
And it's beautiful that they brought him back. But we might have some type of Madden cover curse going on because his first appearance, the Bachelor turned out to be gay. His second appearance, the guy gets home before even hearing his performance. So I think Brett might have some bad juju, despite being such a talented artist. I enjoyed so much his rendition of "Here Tonight" in front of Kayla and Colton.
Bring back Train.
And it was another beautiful performance, but man, Gabby, Rachel, and Jason should have been there, and it just didn't seem right to me. I hope they bring him back.
Yeah.
The artist, not Jason. He can leave.
Next morning. Gabs and Rach chat. I don't know what the fuck they talk about. Probably what took place the night before or whatever. Who cares? I do like one fun part of the show, though, is those two being each other's buddies and confidants. It's kind of nice because typically a bachelor or bachelorette is just in a state of not knowing who they can trust, and then used to have fucking Hanson show up there. You can't trust what came out of that guy's mouth. And now you got Jesse Palmer, a very unexperienced, unknowledgeable how all this works, and I definitely wouldn't trust telling him anything.
I completely agree with everything you said, including the friendship of Rachel and Gabby being beautiful. They're perfect yin and yang for each other. Mm-hmm. The goofy Rachel, all due respect, a little basic. Yeah. So you need Gabby there to spice it up, and they have each other's backs. And I thought I was going to get annoyed of them acting like they're best friends, but it does seem like they've developed quite the close relationship.
And I think it's real, too.
Yeah, it's trauma bonding, and that can't be denied. But then we get the date car. Or no. One-on-one date. Gabby's one-on-one date. Nate, first we see him. He's got some nervous energy with the fellas, and then he starts crying because he abandoned his daughter. He's realized what he's done.
Wow.
You've got some stuff to say about this. He's a single father on The Bachelor.
Well, I don't like it.
You tried to start the campaign, hashtag no more single mothers or fathers on The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, or Bachelor.
Yes. It's in I hate to be judgy. We have a lot of, a lot of our listeners get upset when I probably bring this up, but because they're like, hey, they're people too. They want to find love. Find it on Match.com. This involves disappearing for 6 weeks out of your kid's life. They kind of need you to be there, especially after 2 years of fucking COVID. And don't be so selfish.
And maybe try to find love the 5 weekdays that mom's got the kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking dad.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't want to assume maybe his baby mama is addicted to drugs and he has full custody. I doubt it. That almost never happens. One of my favorite things that happens to me in life is when I'm out in public, whether it be the mall, the park, just enjoying a nice day, and a complete stranger walks up to me, and they go, hey, you don't know me at all, but I really, really like your ex. And they're not talking about, like, my former lovers or anything. When I say ex, I'm using ex as a variable for the specific item of clothing on me that they complimented. Okay, and in this case, that item was Rothy's. They were like, dang, those flats are so cute with their colorways. I love your Rothy's. That was after I told them what Rothy's were, and I gave this stranger our promo code, Bachelor, so they could get $20 off their first pair. I told them, go to rothys.com/Bachelor. Use promo code Bachelor for $20 off. That's ROTHYS.com/Bachelor. I told this complete stranger who ran up and gave me a compliment, and that's why you should be kind to people, because he complimented me on my shoes, and then I, in turn, gave him an opportunity to get $20 off those same shoes. So compliment people is the lesson here, and go to rothys.com/Bachelor for $20 off the cutest shoes you ever see in your life. I love simplicity in my shoes, and that's what Rothys offers. They're beautiful, sleek. They go with everything. Start wowing people. You're going to step into them, and you're going to be like, that's more like it. That's rothys.com/Bachelor, $20 off, new shoes. Who doesn't like that? Gabby and Nate date.
I was going to say they overlook the beautiful Santa Monica Mountains and have a little kiss there. And I think that's when the helicopter shows up. Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful, although I'm not going to say it. That'll only dampen the mood. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much they fly. I wonder what kind of waivers they have to. Every night in the news, you see some accidents, but they make it, and they get our first hot tub of the season. Mm-hmm. Out of some of the hot tubs we've seen recently, some have been in, like, the middle of desolate areas.
Resorts in Palm Springs.
When I said desolate areas, I meant dumps. I'm glad you cleared that out. This, instead, you got the beautiful skyline of LA with the smog-filled skies. I actually found it quite beautiful.
Oh, well, don't even get me started. I actually took a photo of, the second portion, which we're about to move to, of their dinner date was right in the middle of Union Station. Union Station, which I believe during filming, I know if they filmed this 4 months ago, it certainly existed. I'll post a picture of what it looks like outside Union Station. It's turned into a zombie encampment. I don't know how much money Mickey had, because normally when these productions show up, they got a fistful of 50s and they just start handing people money to get the fuck out of there. Yeah, maybe they paid off all the zombies, and of course they didn't do an exterior shot of Union Station, but it looks like the set of Walking Dead. Is my point. It looks beautiful on the inside, but not on the out.
I tried to take Chewy on longer walks on occasion. He's getting older. I can tell he's getting. Oh, is this Union Station?
Yeah, that's the outside of Union Station.
This is so much worse than I thought it was going to be. Please check the video. Another Bachelor Podcast YouTube. This looks like Coachella.
For zombies.
It's a Coachella campground. Only all the artists aren't showing up because they're going to get ate by zombies. This is insane.
Maybe Mickey Mouse 2 days before showed up with fucking flamethrowers and he was able to, clear the area for filming. I don't know. Mickey has a lot of power.
But how did they have romance with all the smell of human shit and urine around?
No clue, bro. Yeah.
You gotta see that picture. We're gonna post it on the social medias. That makes me so fucking sad, actually. So we finally get to dinner at Union Station, and Nate confesses to Gabby that he does have a little one at home that he abandoned.
Yeah, he's got a 6-year-old daughter, and he, in their conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but I believe he compared his daughter to coffee. I think he was trying to say she's energetic, but it...
No, she's Colombian. His baby mama's Colombian.
Is that what he was saying?
Yeah,
okay. It didn't make any sense with the coffee thing.
That's what I took out of it. I'm kidding. I think he meant she was a ball of energy, just like him. But good joke, Nick. Gabby, she keeps the smile on her face, but she's like, well, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
She talks about how she's close with her father, not with her mother.
Yeah, her mother sucks.
None of it really has to do with accepting the child and wanting to be the mother.
Yeah, she said she likes that he has a daughter. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
slow down with the encouragement.
And then we get a little OTF of Gabby, and she says she's still not sure how that would fit into her life, but as I mentioned before, she's going to let this ride for a while because she'd love to bring Rick James's backup dancer to the fantasy suite.
Oh, yes. You go, girl. Have some fun. Have some fun. Rent it before you don't buy it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Cocktail party.
Oh, yes. Nighttime. Rose ceremony. Cocktail party. And still, no one has any fucking clue how this works. The guy's talking like, I don't know what's happening.
I think this might be the move. It might be. So what we got, it used to be group date, one-on-one first week. Mm-hmm. We got giant kind of pageant group date with everybody. Then we got a group date with 6 people and one-on-one. So it was basically we just switched out a one-on-one for a group date, and that might be the pattern we see going forward, especially with less guys. But we will see if I'm right, because as Jesse said, there are no rules.
Well, does Palmer ask, like, how's this work? And they answer, I think he asked Rach and Gabby, and they're like, no clue.
They're like, you're the host, you idiot. Although they've been on almost as many seasons as each other. So before the ladies go into the cocktail party, Jesse does a little foreshadowing. He's like, have you discussed what's going to happen when you like the same guy? And they're like, we haven't thought about it. We're going to be friends forever.
Yes.
Foreshadowing. No, you're not. Shit's going to get ruined probably because of Logan. Then we get to the cocktail party. Mario is the first one that steps up and grabs Rachel. He had gotten the first impression rose from Gabby, but that's not going to deter him from exploring.
No.
As Pat advised, it's still early. You want to rent both cars that you may not buy.
Yeah. By the way, he's a personal trainer. Don't trust those motherfuckers. Forgive me if there's a husband and wife team that listen to the show and normally love us and laugh out loud everything we say, but turns out the guy's a personal trainer. He's like, I disagree with Pat on that one. No, you're all horrible. You're all cheaters. Personal trainers. Never date one. You cannot trust them.
Especially if you're at the Y and you're teaching old ladies, I don't know, maybe. But But if you're a public figure and you got an Instagram that's popping and you're showing your abs, at the very least, just watch out for the sluts in his DMs.
Oh, yes. Those sluts.
Rachel and evidently a carny get some alone time and play some Papa Shot. He
was cute. I think he's a cute guy. I forgot his name.
He's one of the cutest carnies I've ever seen. I found his name later.
It wasn't Colin, was it?
Nope. That is not him. I'm going to find it later.
Okay.
Maybe I won't. Possibly Chris. It might be Chris. I don't know. It's the third day of school. I will know next week. But anyways, he's a carny. It's crazy to me. I mean, he runs carnival games at the Jersey Shore.
Oh, fun.
But that honestly, Pat, you're the Jamaican. That's honestly a hustle. Like I'm surprised you don't own some vending machines.
Thought about it.
On a popping corner. My aunt, they had some around. They get like $600 a month. It was kind of a pain in the ass to fill.
I owned an ATM machine for a little while.
You mentioned that, and I found that fascinating. Did they get stolen, or something happened, or nothing?
No, I just leased it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a wild gig.
Yeah. I charge $3 a transaction.
I want to for content. I'm fine. I have enough where I can just pursue my goals and live a fine life, but I want to do weird stuff just for the experience and then report back to you guys how it goes. I keep thinking of getting like a fast food job and just like quitting in horrific fashion in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun.
It would be a blast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you're skeptical of my follow through.
Not at all. Not at all. Cut to Gabby on these. They're mixing up at the cocktail party on top of a guy that has a fucking mullet. Who's that dude? I should probably do better research, seeing as I'm being paid to talk about a television show.
I missed this part, but I love a nice head of lettuce. That's a hockey haircut. Everybody sees mullets.
Oh.
Mullets are in now, but they've been in for years in Canada and the upper Midwest.
Hockey helmet.
Hockey haircut.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey haircut.
Lots of kissing going on by this point. I'm glad the girls are swapping a lot of spit. It is their birthright. They are bachelorettes. They get to make out with multiple people back to back. They test for herpes, I want to say, before people come on this show. They have to, right? Wonder if there's ever been a breakout on a reality TV show where everybody fucking gets a fucking rash on their upper lip walking around. Oh, how did you get that? I was on a reality TV show. Oh, that sucks.
That would be like, I don't know, like in like a Burning Love season or something. That would be hilarious. Like night one, breakout happens, and then they just have to get like a whole new cast. Like that's the bad. That's
had a breakout. COVID? No.
The herp.
Yeah.
The herp.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that lasts a lot longer and is also real. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where are we?
Can I do a meanwhile?
Please do a meanwhile.
Meanwhile, fun is being had, but that's when Quincy and that guy that needs Botox starts up with Chris in the fantasy suite thing again.
I think the guy who needs Botox, I think, is the guy that looks like...
he's a white guy.
Yeah, this one kid I played basketball against... his name was Bobby Barney. He went to Lacrosse Logan High School.
Okay, well, he's Bobby right now.
Yeah, Bobby Barney.
Yeah, guy that needs Botox. They talk to Rachel, and she's upset by Chris's attempt to overtake her sexual journey. How dare he talk about the fantasy suites?
You talked about someone you're like, oh, the Losers Club or something on some other show we had.
I don't know.
This show's Loser Club or whatever you called it. That was funnier. The litany of losers. God damn it, I can't remember, but it was pretty funny. And that's what these guys are. They're all losers. They don't have a chance, so they have to be filthy gnawing rats. Mm-hmm. Except it's effective. They tell Rachel. Rachel tells Gabby. Rachel and Gabby go tell Chris. Chris is autistic about it and gets kicked off the show.
Yeah. Well, Rachel and Gabby at this point have a little meet-up and discuss this apparent crime against the Bachelorette. Because fantasy suites and the judgment of fantasy suites is really important. A fantasy suite needs to happen, you see, Nick. And getting in the way of fucking 3 people back to back is just pure judgment. And that's problematic. So they fucking need to squash this like a bug. I think the girls think he's slut-shaming, quite honestly, but I don't think that's what Chris was doing. And again, we've talked about this quite a bit in the episode. I think he got a bad edit. I think he got a bad rap. And he was unable to untangle what they were trying to do to him because he just could not articulate. Like, I was just talking about fantasy suites. I was not trying. And if he was very good looking, that also, as you pointed out, would have helped out quite a bit. But he lacked both those things. He was inarticulate with his argument or retort, and he was not one of the better looking guys.
And I agree with you. He got like a bad like villain edit, but I also agree with Rachel and Gabby's they didn't have to fucking roast him, but I agree with their prerogative. Like if he's talking like that, they can choose to not have him on, and he can choose to only want a bachelorette who's only going to have sex with one person. Like I told you, he gave me like church camp counselor vibes with that basketball, and he might be a religious thing. He sounds like someone who he's got a promise to God, so he doesn't want his lady banging other people. And that's fine, but these ladies aren't for you. And everybody go their separate ways.
And dare I say, we felt empowered it wasn't 5 seasons ago. It was last season when Susie said, "Did you fuck 2 people in fantasy suites?" And he's like, yeah. And she said, "No, go for me." I'd argue Chris was making the same case, but right out front, and we hate him and he needs to go. And Susie was lauded as, you go, girl. You aren't going to be the cleanup crew after 2 girls got fucked by The Bachelor. I don't know. It's a very complicated world. I thought it was wrong of Gabby and Rachel to hammer this poor sap for that. But he wasn't good looking, so, you know.
Yeah. I'll... To sum it up, my thoughts on it, I don't think he got eliminated because of what he said. I think he got eliminated because he was weird.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they send him packing.
They send him packing, and it's time for our first rose ceremony. Patrick, do we have a roll call?
Yes, Nick, we do. Palmer comes out to tell us something about how this all works, but he doesn't really...
I just did want to say the group of losers. So it was the guy who needs Botox, Quincy, and then it was also the guy who you said looks like Grocer Joe.
Yeah.
But he's uglier.
Yeah.
You know what his name is? And I fucked it up last week. Maybe my brain was trying to make the joke and I didn't even realize it. He's Grocer Joe.
He's grosser.
Yeah.
He's Grocer Joe.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
I was pretty excited about. Almost forgot it. If I left here not saying that joke, I would have been very upset all week.
Oh, wow. Good job. All right, so we ready
Grocer Joe. I hope he sticks around for a while so I can say it. But yeah, we're ready for a
roll call. Here we go. Who's staying? And both bachelorettes are going to pick the losers and the winners together. Here are the roses. Boring Jason. Truly, if you want to fall asleep at night, just ask this guy to talk. Avon, who I'm pretty sure whispers in Gabby's ear, "Is Logan still here?" Because he likes Logan. Eric, basic white guy. Zach, very handsome, no clue who he is. Quincy, the rat. Rats never win. Try watching that show, Quincy. Jordan, you got to get some Botox. I got a great place in Reseda called LASIK Eye Removal. They charge $10 a cc. It will really help you out, dude. Michael, nothing. Tino Rach is into this guy for some fucking reason. Jacob / Tarzan, pretty sure Gabby handed him a ticket to Paradise because he will be there. I think the guy's name is Tyler. The shirt, good looking guy. Jermaine, no clue. Hayden, no clue. Meatball, he sucks. Kurt, I don't even think that's a person that's here, but another no fucking clue. Probably nice, but really boring. Spencer, Alec, one of the Jonas brothers. Ethan has a zit on his forehead. Probably that monkeypox thing, or had anal sex with Gabby's forehead last week.
90 knots.
Thank you.
And that's a roll call. Who goes home, Pat?
No clue. But
Me neither.
Cares? Who cares?
Me neither. I kind of actually, I realized I called my Uber and I printed my notes, and I realized I did that right before the roll call, and I was like, well, Pat, I don't have to write this part down. Pat's definitely going to have a roll call last week in lieu of us missing the rose ceremony last week, but then I never even watched it. And I watched it when you were coming in, but then I was getting texts and stuff, so I didn't even pay attention.
That's all right. You don't need to do that. When we do our other property below deck and the preference sheet meeting happens, I just start looking at my phone.
Same thing. When he talks about food, just out.
No need.
Wow. That's those are taking shifts.
How'd we do, Nick? How long was this show?
It was 52 minutes.
Wow.
I think it was actually, we'll probably cut out about 4 of my ums and ahs and where are we? Can't see my notes. But I think it was an incredible episode, Pat. I really think we did well.
Yeah, I did
especially
too.
On our late note. Like, usually if I'm going to watch the show multiple times if I have the hosting duties.
That's your professionalism.
If I have the hosting duties. I didn't. I watched it one time, 2 times speed. I was starting and stopping, but man, I thought we pulled it off.
Great job, Nicky.
Dylan, great job, Pat. Dylan, get well. I hope you're here tomorrow. Just because those are really important shows, and this one's less important, but not to our listeners of this show. Thanks, everybody. Follow us on all the social medias, Another Bachelor Podcast. We're getting really more active on there. And actually listen to another podcast show. That's like my pet project. I want that to become bigger than our reality TV shows. Pat, what do you want to tell them?
Actually, I want to hammer them over the head if they haven't hit pause or stopped or moving another podcast. I truly want to grow another podcast show. It's fucking free. If you like us talking, you obviously enjoy us. I know how it is in the podcast game. You have your top 5 podcasts that you like, and you just go to them, and we're providing more content. Head over there right now and listen to another podcast show. How many episodes we got up there? 50 or 60 or something?
There's 64 free, and there's another 50 behind a paywall on patreon.com/Another Podcast Network if you really like it. And I love it as well because it's such a blending of all 3 of our personalities. We generally bring in one topic that we want to talk about, and we have disparate interests, I would say.
We're very different people.
But we're able to gab and goof about just about anything, and I really like that show. Ask Kate Chastain, who you guys don't know who that is.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go home now.
Any thoughts, Dylan? All right, thanks. All right, for Another Podcast Network, I'm Nick saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.